Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 255, modified, we're going to call it. I'm Lisa, your host. I'm Fiber Nymph on Ravelry. I have a Fiber Nymph account on Instagram and a Fiber Nymph Dyeworks account on Instagram. You're welcome to follow me at either of those places. The first one is my private account. The second one is more for my yarn business. I have a 90% knitting group on Ravelry, which is where I'll be posting show notes. There's a Fiber Nymph Dyeworks group on Ravelry, which is, again, mostly business-related stuff. And then there's a Fiber Nymph Dyeworks page on Facebook, which is where I post stuff about both the podcast and the business. So those are all places that you can find me on social media and online. Today is Wednesday, September 6th. I have been trying to record this episode for 2 days now. I don't know how many attempts I have made. Technology is not my friend this week. Add to that the fact that we have a lot of intense stuff going on, mostly here at my house this week. We are getting ready to tear the roof off my house this weekend and re-roof. I have done this before. It's not necessarily a hard job. It's a labor-intensive job, but it's not difficult. I have a very easy roof to do. And my husband and I are going to do that this weekend. It should take us 3 days, maybe 4, and we've got those days. And the weather looks like it's going to be great, but there has been a lot of prep work to do getting ready for this, and that's kind of what we're in the middle of. So I'm not only trying to work, but I'm also trying to do all the prep stuff that I have to do for this weekend, my part of it anyway. So that's been going on. I spent a big chunk of my day yesterday taking cats to the vet for checkups, and I had one very, very not happy Babette about that whole ordeal because it involved her having to go up to the mountain house for the first time, and oh my goodness, she nearly, like, I have a mark right here. She dug her claw into my face. It hurts so bad today. Yeah, not a happy day yesterday. So anyway, I'm back at my house today. You probably recognize the yellow wall, but oh my goodness, doesn't it look different with all the bookcases and cubbies gone? It's so empty in here. There's still stuff on this front wall that you can't see, but just seeing that one lonely picture of my flowers back there, it looks so sad and forlorn. I had tried using my laptop here, but oh my goodness, there's just no good place to do that lighting wise here. And yesterday was super overcast up at the well, it was overcast everywhere and rainy, and it was making the light really funky up at the mountain house. So I wasn't even getting good lighting up there. So like I said, I have been trying. I was having problems with my software yesterday. It kept like deleting chunks of what I'd recorded. I just finally gave in. I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. So I'm trying again today. This is sort of my last ditch effort, and here's why it's episode 255, sort of. Basically, I'm going to show you what I've been working on knitting-wise. We're going to talk a little bit about the knit-along. I have some 10% for you, which I basically just recapped, telling you about the roof. And then I have some shop news, which is primarily, I'm going to show you what's going up into the shop update on Friday. The part that I won't be doing that I planned to do in this episode is announce a lot of prize winners. And I do mean a lot. For A Year in the Life of a Knitter, the year-long knit-along that we've been doing in the 90% knitting group, I have the August prize winners to announce. There are 12 of you. Yes, 12. We had a very, very chatty month, and that is a fabulous problem to have. However, even though we have a lot of chatty posts, there was over 600, it's from a fairly small group of people. Like the same people are doing all the chatting, which is fine. I'm happy about that. It's wonderful. Whoever's contributing is great. It just makes it really difficult to award that many prizes when random number generator wants to keep choosing the same people over and over and over and over and over, and I have to keep redrawing for that many prizes. I was working on that yesterday, and I just finally had to stop because I ran out of time. And so that's part of the issue. That's why I am not prepared to award those prizes today. With the summertime knit along and crochet along that we were doing in the Fiber Nymph Dyeworks group, that one's over. That was just June, July, and August. So the August prize winners, I could award today, except I don't have them here with me because I have the stuff up at the Mountain House now. But for the grand prizes, those 3 grand prizes, those are being awarded to people who finished objects in all 3 months, June, July, and August. I have a spreadsheet that I've been trying to keep track of all those people, but I need the time to go back in and verify that I have my information correct because I don't want to leave anybody out of those drawings. So I have not had time to do that yet. So what I'm going to do, instead of making you wait until the next time I can do a regular episode, because I'm not sure if that'll be next week or not. I hope it will, but I can't guarantee it just with all this roofing stuff that's going to be going on and other house craziness, is I'm going to record a special prize awards episode. That's all it's going to be. Hopefully I'll get that done tomorrow. And it'll be a year in the life of a knitter August prize winners, and it will be the summertime knit along August winners and the grand prize winners, all in one little self-contained episode. I apologize ahead of time for making you have to watch a separate episode just to see if you won a prize. I feel bad about that, but right now that seems to be the best way for me to be able to do this, because the other thing is, for me to get through all of those prize winners in one episode, I'm pretty sure that would take probably anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes. It's going to take a while. So that's going to be a separate episode. If for some reason you miss that episode or don't get to watch it, on the next regular episode, I will announce the names of any prize winners whom I have not heard back from yet. So you'll have the heads up to know, hey, you were a prize winner. Go check out that episode. And if I still don't hear from you by the next episode, I will just directly PM you and let you know that you were a winner. In the meantime, I'm not going to change anything up for September as far as how I do the prizes for the year in the life of a knitter. I am going to make some modifications though for the winter quarter, but I will talk more about that in a future episode. So let's get started. I do not have show notes in front of me right now. They are on my other computer and I didn't transfer them to this computer. So I've done this so many times, I feel like I can just do it from memory. The first thing, though, I do want to let you know is a little bit of Administrati. I was sent a message on Ravelry from AASV Mom, who is Holly. And Holly and her friend Jessica, and I believe maybe some other people, they're from Texas, the part of Texas that got really hit with Hurricane Harvey. And they are looking for donations of knitting materials, so needles, yarn, project bags, anything like that, because she was saying, you know, a lot of them have lost pretty much everything, including their knitting stuff. And I never thought about that. You know, whenever you think about these disasters, at least I think like all the big stuff, furniture, houses, cars, clothing, you know, all that stuff. But then you think about the small stuff too, you know, or, you know, I also think about like photo albums and pictures and things that can't be replaced. But like if I was sitting in a shelter or I was at a friend's house or something after the aftermath of all of that, or in the aftermath of all of that, and I didn't have knitting, I think I'd go really bonkers, because knitting is what I do to de-stress. And I can't think of a more stressful situation to be in than having just sustained all that damage to my life. So I was glad she sent me that message, and I definitely am going to send some stuff their way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a thread in the 90% Knitting group where I will post her message to me with all the information of what they're, you know, looking for, any donations, as well as the mailing address that you can send it to. I don't have any other specifics other than what's in that message. So if you want more details on any of that, I would recommend directly messaging her on Ravelry and asking questions. But otherwise, I'll put that up there. And if you feel compelled to, you know, send some stuff their way, I'm sure that they would appreciate it. Yeah, and I actually have a little bit more to talk about hurricane stuff later on in the podcast, but I just wanted to make sure I got that out there and didn't forget to tell you. Okay, we're going to move on to knitting now, and I've not knit on a whole lot of things. I've been concentrating on specific things. I really, really, really want to knit sweaters right now. It is fall. As of September 1st, that's the first day of meteorological fall. I know that, you know, the first day of autumn is the 22nd. I'm looking at my calendar because I can never remember. Sometimes it's 22nd. I think sometimes it's anywhere from the 21st to the 23rd. This year it's September 22nd. But as far as I'm concerned, it's September 1st because the meteorological seasons begin on the 1st of the month. So it is fall, and I want to be knitting sweaters. So I have been working on my Hero cardigan by Julia Farwell Clay, and that is the one that I am knitting out of Letlopi, which is the Icelandic yarn. It's a unplied singles yarn. It's very toothy. It's very, very warm. And this pattern, as you may recall, this was knitted. It was written flat to be knit flat, so you're knitting and purling the body. And then once you get up to the yoke where there's color work, you're also supposed to be doing that flat. I wasn't going to do that. My plan was to add a few stitches in the middle, the front middle, that would be steek stitches, and I would work the color work in the round, which other people had said they had done, and that sounded like a great idea to me, and so I decided to copy that idea. Well, in the meantime, I'm knitting on this week, and I thought, why am I not just doing that now during the body? Because I'm knitting back and forth, you know, knitting, purling, and I don't mind purling long rows, but in this really grippy yarn, it was taking forever. So I decided to just start my steek area early. So that's this area between these two stitch markers. I just added 3 stitches, and that's where I will steek once I'm finished. And so then I've just done the rest of the body in the round. And that's where I'm at now. I finished the body. It's about 15 inches from my cast on edge up to where my armpits will be, where the sleeves will go in. And I was always excited because I thought, oh, yay, I get to do the color work now. Well, no, I don't, because I have to have the sleeves first. They have to be put on the needles. Usually in patterns like that, they have you knit the sleeves first, then the body, and then you add it all together. At least ones I've done. But that is not how this one's being done. So what I had a little bit of trouble with was, and of course I'm modifying this pattern as I go on, so it could just be that I've misread things. But at one point before you start the sleeves, they have you putting the underarm stitches on waist yarn, which is what this green yarn is. However, the way it's written, it sounds like they want you to knit over to those stitches, then put them on waist yarn, then knit across the back, put the next ones on waist yarn, and then knit that last front section. But you can't do that because you'd have to break your yarn. But it doesn't specify breaking your yarn, and so I'm thinking, am I missing something? Like, I can't put things on waist yarn and knit them at the same time. At least it didn't seem likely to do that. I can't figure out how I would do that. So instead of breaking the yarn multiple times, because I didn't see any reason to do that, I knit across the first front section. I have put my first section of underarm stitches on waist yarn, and I stopped. That's where I left it, and then I went to the sleeves. So once I have my sleeves finished, I will then come back to this, and I will put the first set of sleeve stitches, I'll work those onto this needle, then knit across the back, then work the second set of sleeve stitches onto the next spot, put those body stitches that need to be the underarm on waist yarn at that point as well, and then knit to the front. I won't have to break my yarn at all. In my brain, that works. If I am missing something, you can tell me, or I'll just figure it out when I get there. But I'm pretty sure that will work. So the body part is done. I did start working. I started both sleeves, actually. I'm working them concurrently, although not really. I basically wanted to do the color work part because the cuff is one of the contrasting colors, and then you do color work to get back up to your main color. So I did that with both of them concurrently. And now I'm just going to knit the rest of the first sleeve, and then I'll go and knit the rest of the second sleeve. But here are my sleeves so far. I really like them. I love this icy blue color. It's sort of a medium icy blue. Let's see, do I have the, here it is. Oh, it is color 1404. The gray that I'm using is 0058. This is supposed to be your contrasting color number 1. The yoke is done in 3 contrasting colors. Mine's going to be different because even though I have a bunch of different colors in Letlopi, I don't have enough of any one color to do all of the color work. So I'm going to be making that up as I go along, using probably about 5 different colors. But this was the one I wanted to use on the cuff, and I'll probably use it up at the top of the neck as well when I'm finishing the sweater. Anyway, so this is the sleeve. I like how it fits. I modified the fit. The stitch count for the cuff for the size that I am doing, let's see, which size am I doing? I cast on the body part to do the size 48, the 48-inch bust size, but I'm going to decrease in the yoke to do the 45 because that I know will fit me better. I'm going up another needle size though to do my color work, so I think it'll all work out. I'm being optimistic. But when I was doing the sleeves, I wanted to do the sleeves for the smaller size, the 45. However, the number of stitches they wanted me to cast on were actually like really roomy. I like my sweater sleeves to fit like this. I like them to be snug. And like the one, if I would have used all of the stitches, it probably would have been this open. And I don't like that. I want it to be snug because I'm eventually going to want to push it up. And I want it to stay. So I went down and I used the stitch count for the smaller size sweaters. They only had 3 different stitch counts for the sleeves for all of the sweaters, essentially, sweater sizes. So I used the smallest size. It's great. This is exactly how I would want it to fit. And this is also on a smaller needle. This is on a 6. Everything else I've been doing is on a 7. And like I said, I'll do my yoke work up here in the 8. And then I switched to the 7 for this color work, which is fine. It's not too tight. I think I finally got my tension down, and my stitch dominance I've done pretty well. I kept the blue over to the left, and that worked really well. And so then I'm just knitting the rest of the sweater, and I'm doing my increases. And you're increasing 2 stitches every, I think, 6 rows or rounds. I will have to do some more increases to get up to the size, although I don't know. I may modify that too. I have to look at that chart for the or the stitch counts for the yoke to see if I might be able to get away with fewer stitches on the sleeves. I don't know. I'm just going to keep trying the sleeve on as I go, see how it is, see how it's fitting, and I'll modify it if I need to. And if I don't, I'll just keep knitting my sleeve until I have the right number of increases. And if I have to increase faster, I will do that too. But I'm really happy to be this far along because really these sleeves should go pretty quick. It's just straight knitting with some increases. And the body, like I said, is all done except for the yoke. So I'm actually done with this main color on the body except for when I add that next round to put my sleeves on, I'll need it. Otherwise, I think that color's done. So all the rest of it will be color work. I feel like this sweater is really closer to being done than I'm realizing, or that I was realizing. So, yay. I'm kind of excited about that. It's going to have to get way, way colder for me to ever wear it. That's the one thing. I may end up wearing it more as like a jacket than anything, because it's going to be quite a warm sweater being this Icelandic wool. But that's okay. I'm looking forward to having it. And it's in a brand new bag. This is a bag from Bags by Awesome Granny, who's Darlene. She has an Etsy shop. And I just love this fabric. Isn't it cool? It's her large bag. You will see this fabric again on some other things coming up soon. Just saying. So, all right. So that is the one thing I probably spent the most time working on. I did work a little bit on the Bold Berry Splash Pad Parfait Swirl Socks, the second one, but I actually put that pair of socks away now because I decided I wanted to, whoops, that's not the right bag. I wanted to spend a little bit more time, well, a lot more time. In addition to my sweaters, the only other thing I want to work on right now is gift knits for Christmas. So I pulled out this pair of socks that I started a while back and then promptly abandoned. This is the pair of socks I'm making for my younger son for Christmas out of Patton's Croy Effects. This is color number 1506. And yes, this is how much I had. I had cast on the cuff, and it was about 3/4 of the way done. And so I pulled it out today, finished the ribbing, and now I'm just working down the sock. It's just going to be a plain vanilla sock with a heel flap and gusset. But he loves orange, so this is a good color for him. But I really want to get moving on my Christmas knits. I don't know that I'm going to knit a lot of things for Christmas. This is definitely going to get done, even though I'm not in a sock mood right now. I'm really kind of making myself knit socks. It's always, I like having a plain vanilla sock on the needles though, because it's something I can carry around with me when I know I might have a few minutes of knitting time here and there. So I'm working on that. I have that Afghan that I had started for my other son that I would like to finish. Although my saving grace there is his birthday's at the end of January, so if I don't get it done for Christmas, it could be a birthday gift. But I would like to get it done for Christmas. And then the only other knitted item that I feel like I need to do for Christmas is a pair of socks for my oldest son's girlfriend, because I had asked him when I saw him this summer, hey, do you think she'd like a pair of socks? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And sorry, my sweater is doing weird things. And so I feel like I've kind of committed to doing that. I don't know if he said anything to her that I was going to do them, but I'd like to do them for her. I think she would like them. So I still have to dye that yarn, because that was also like we talked colors and everything. So that'll be probably a special dyed colorway for her. Those are the only 3 things I feel like I really, really have to do for Christmas that I feel committed to in my mind. I had 2 other pairs of socks that I thought I might knit. My mom and her now fiance, I was going to knit them socks out of my Elvis Has Left the Building colorway. I might still do that. We'll see. We'll see how it's going. If I do, they'll probably be sport weight socks though. I don't know. I'm not committing to that. They can always have socks some other year. And other than that, I have some sewing projects I think I might try to do for Christmas gifts, but that's getting a little farther than I want to go today. I'll keep you updated if I get there. In the meantime, since I have this colorwork sweater going and I really want to be knitting other sweaters, I decided to cast on a second sweater. And matter of fact, I did that on September 1st. And I thought, you know, I just want to do a nice, simple, top-down raglan that I can work on, and it'll go fast. I don't have to think about. Well, I chose the wrong pattern. But I'm going to do it anyway because I'm actually enjoying it. This is the Dalen Pullover by Isabel Kramer. And it looks like a very simple, nice, top-down raglan, doesn't it? Yeah, it does look that way. The front of it is stockinette. The back of it, I don't know if you can see in this picture, the back of it is garter. There we go. And what's really neat is it comes down so that the garter comes down at an angle and kind of comes into the front at the bottom. It's really cool looking. And I think it'll be nice. It just, all the pictures I've seen of finished ones, and I've seen a few recently, just from people in our group, it just looks like a really comfy, nice sweater. And that's what I would like. So I pulled this pattern out and I wound up some yarn. I'm going to use the Cascade 220, one of the sweater lots of Cascade 220 I bought. Oh, wow, this looks so much better than it looked in other times when I was trying to record. It's still a little brighter than it really is. I have a little piece of something on there. I don't have the label with me for this, so I can't tell you the color number, but it's a Cascade 220 Heather. Just really neat blue. Anyway, I wound up the yarn, got the needles, pulled out the pattern, and I'm looking at the pattern, I'm like, why is it not telling me to cast on the rib neckline? Because I was thinking that's what I would do first. No, you do that the very last. Now, that may be how you do these top-down raglans anyway. It's been a very long time since I've knit a top-down raglan. However, I was expecting to do the ribbing first, but you don't. Okay, fine. So I cast on the number of stitches I needed, and then I started working this, but I'm reading this pattern like, I don't know what it's talking about, and I don't know what it wants me to do. It actually uses short rows to shape the neckline so that it's it's higher in the back than in the front. And I know that's a practice that a lot of people do for their sweaters. They incorporate short rows so that back is a little higher, so you don't have that cold draft on the back of your neck. I've just never done that on any sweaters. I didn't really know how, and I've never used a pattern that has incorporated that. So it's fun to be doing something that's a little different than what I've ever done, even though I was expecting to do something super easy. The short rows they use are German short rows, so I was glad that I was a little familiar with those from doing that short row heel recently, and I really like using them for this purpose too. They're super easy to do. But the other thing that this is doing is for the increases, it uses make one right and make one left, which I'm fine with. I actually like doing those increases. I know some people don't care for them, but I really actually kind of like them. I've never done make one right and make one left purl wise though, and that is what happens in this sweater depending on what side you're on. So that was kind of interesting. So I'm learning some new techniques basically, which is fine. But if you look at it this way, the part that's on the needles right now that hardly has any stitches on it, this is the front. And then it grows as you go around from the short rows. And so this is the back, and the back you can see it's in garter, and this front part will be in stockinette. So I think I'm starting to be able to envision what this is going to do as it grows. But I still have to really, really pay attention to the pattern, the instructions. And it's goofy because it's only 2 rows that you're doing over and over again for this neck, this back of this neck, but I still have to, I can't be doing anything else. I can't even, like Bill was trying to read me something, an article or something, and I'm like, I can't. Like, let me put this down first. So I'm looking forward to this sweater. I love this yarn. You know I have a Cascade 220 thing. I just love it. I love this color, and I think the sweater is going to be really cool. I just, it's a little bit more difficult than I was anticipating, but honestly, the hero is coming out to be easier than I thought it was going to be, and I'm, you know, the sleeves are going to fly. I don't anticipate trouble with the color work, so I think it's all good. I've got enough keeping me busy. And this is in a fairly new bag, although you've seen it before. This is my bird leg bags with the jellyfish on it. Isn't it awesome? It's so nice and big too. I actually should probably switch these 2 sweaters around, except the yarn matches this bag so well. That's not really an issue for me, but in this case, I actually kind of like it. Okay, so I think that's everything I was going to tell you about what I'm knitting. That's all I've knit on. I haven't done any spinning. I haven't done anything else other than house stuff and everything. So as far as A Year in the Life of a Knitter knit-along goes, we are in September, which is the final month of the summer quarter. I know it feels kind of weird because I just got done saying it's fall, but that's the way it's breaking down for the knit-along. So September is our last month for the summer quarter. We're still posting in that main summer quarter thread for this quarter, so feel free to chatter away and post. The focus this month is slipped stitches, and the challenge this month is shortcuts. I have all that information up in the challenge thread, so if you have any questions, feel free to PM me, but that's where you can go to find that. And I think that's everything I have for you for 90% this time. I showed you my new bag already. 10%, like I said, it's just we're really in an intense period of house stuff. This roof project, we anticipate that we'll be able to get it done over the weekend, like Friday through Monday. Bill took both of those days off. And the weather is supposed to be beautiful this weekend. It's going to be like high 60s, like maybe 70, and no rain in the forecast. So fingers crossed, that's perfect roofing weather. So hopefully that doesn't change. Yeah, it's just a lot of manual labor, basically. And that's what we're going to be doing. Actually, removing the old shingle and old roofing stuff is the worst part because I have not been able to get a dumpster. I did look into it. Gosh, I can't even talk. You know, we wanted to get a dumpster, a roll-off to put in my driveway to just dump the shingles in. That's the easiest thing to do for this. Unfortunately, my driveway is a hill, and Bill's like, you know what? I don't know that you're going to be able to get somebody to deliver one of those on that slope. Plus, the truck would be so heavy, he doesn't want it to damage the asphalt in my driveway. I I don't either, because then I'd have to have that refixed, and that's going to cost money. We're trying to save money by doing the roof ourselves. So we got those big green, like those dumpster bags. You know, they're like dumpsters. They're flexible bags. I've never used them. Bill used them when he redid his roof several years ago, and he said they worked great. But it's a lot more work because you have to scrape the stuff off. The sides don't stay up, so you can't really even put those there. So they're going to be up at the top of my driveway in my parking spot area, and we're going to be dumping all the shingle stuff into, I have a wagon that goes on my tractor it's big enough that we can throw stuff into there, but then you're going to have to drive it up, and somebody's going to have to dump all that from the wagon into the dumpster bag. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. We originally were going to assign that part to my son, Chris, to do that because we thought we were going to be doing it Saturday, but since Bill was able to get Friday off, we're going to be doing that part Friday. Chris has to work. He's probably really happy about that, actually. So it's probably going to be yours truly doing all of that part, the transferring it from the wagon into the bag. But it has to be done. And in the end, I will have a lovely new roof that will greatly improve the value of my house. So I'm trying to just look at the goal for when I resell the house next year, or when I sell the house next year. So yeah, that's it. Did I mention cats? I can't remember. I've tried to record this so many times. I don't remember if I even mentioned the vet visits yesterday. I had to take Babette and one of the other cats from the mountain house to the vet just for checkups. The other cat was fine. She's so totally chill. Babette was so freaked out by the whole thing because she doesn't ride in the car very often. She's never been to the mountain house before. She hasn't met the other cats before. She's never been to this vet before, and she doesn't like going to the vet anyway. What cat really does? She clawed my face. Did I show you that? It hurts. It really hurts. She also clawed my arm, but I didn't even realize that till I got home and got in the shower. So yeah, I bled at the vet. Nobody else did. It was a stressful night because then she was up at the mountain house last night because I wasn't going to drive all the way back here just to bring her back. So she basically spent a lot of time hiding under things. And it was funny because the other cats were not at all, you know, mean to her. Like, nobody tried to pick a fight. Nobody hissed at her or growled. Every time she saw one of them, she hissed and growled. But they were all like, hey, whatever, you have your space. You know, so that was kind of nice. I was worried about how that was going to go down. But I guess maybe they figured there was, you know, power in numbers or something, and they knew that they were on their territory. But she was okay overnight. She actually did end up coming out of hiding, and she slept in Muffin's bed at the end of the hallway by our bedroom. And the baby kitty, you know, Tippy was up there too. And Tippy's doing well. She's fine. She's a little stinker, but she's good. So anyway, we all survived the night. There were storms, so I was awake with storms. I was awake with cats because there was cats howling out in the driveway at one point. Oh my gosh, I'm a little tired today. But other than that, everything was good. So, all right, let's move on to shop news, shall we? First of all, again, I will reiterate, I know that was really redundant. Again, I'll reiterate. Gosh. I will just say again that I will announce the winners for the Summertime Knit and Crochet Along on the special prize awards episode that I'm hopefully going to get to record tomorrow, okay? So there will be prizes. They're ready to be awarded. I just have to get it all together so that I know it's right so I can record. And hope that will be coming, so watch for that. If you shopped my Summer's End sale this past week, thank you so very much. That was wonderful getting to clear out a bunch of inventory. I hope you found something that you loved. So thank you. I wanted to just mention that. I also wanted to mention that, as promised, I have put the listings back up in the shop for the Holiday Countdown mini collections. I put them back up Tuesday, and they will stay up through this Sunday or until quantities run out. There's only a limited number that I'm going to accept at this point because I don't want to go over a certain number that I know that I'm confident that I can dye in time to get them shipped out by November 1st. There's still plenty. So if you missed out for the first pre-orders, you can still pre-order them now. But if for some reason there's like a huge surge, I'm probably going to have to shut the listings down a little prior to the 10th. But as of right now, that's not an issue. So they are not discounted this time. They were discounted when I had them up at the beginning. But again, this is like the last time, your last chance. So if you do still really want one, they're up there. Go ahead and grab it. Lastly, there's a shop update this week. So yay! And I've got everything right here, and I've got new colorways to show you too. And because I've tried recording this multiple times, everything's a little bit in disarray, so please be patient with me. The first, I told you I was going to put Halloween colorways up this time, and I am. So I'm going to start with those. I've got a couple of older Halloween colorways, as in ones I've done prior years. This one is Hijinks. I have done Hijinks, I think, since my first Halloween. This is a 3-stripe colorway with purple, orange, and charcoal gray stripes. It's been a perennial favorite. I do it every year, and it seems to be well liked. So I did some more of those, and they're on the bounce base. Another colorway I've had for the past couple of years is my Got Candy colorway. It's a 4-striper with purple, orange, bright neon green, and yellow. I did it a little differently this year. Usually the purple stripe is a wee stripe, and then the other stripes are wider stripes. I did that in reverse this year. So this year, the purple stripe is the wide stripe, and there's one big wide purple stripe in between the 3 other stripes, which are the wee stripes. And I'm trying to get it to focus. There we go. So there will be the wee stripes of the bright yellow, bright orange, and bright green with a big wide purple stripe in between. I just thought it'd be fun to mix it up a little bit, give you more purple, because I know a lot of people, for Halloween colors, they really like purple. So I have that on both Bounce and Bedazzled. Then I have some new colorways. And my new Halloween colorway for this year, I'm super excited about. This is going to be very reminiscent of a couple colorways I did earlier this year. You'll remember like the Snow Day colorway where we had the blue stripe and then there was the white stripe with the speckles in it. Well, that's what we've got again with this Halloween colorway. Isn't this awesome? I love this so much. I have been waiting to do this. So we've got a soft black stripe, and then the white stripe has all the Halloween colored speckles in it. So since it's a Halloween colored speckled colorway, I'm calling it Halloween Spookles. I know it's silly, but it makes me happy. So this is Halloween Spookles in the striped version. So we've got purple, intense purple, bright green, bright orange, bright yellow, and the bright orange that I used in this one, actually when it breaks into this really vivid pinkish salmon color. It's really neat. It's like a very neon-y color. So I just think it's awesome for Halloween. I like this colorway for Halloween because unlike some of the Halloween colorways I've done in the past that really scream all those Halloween colors, this is like Halloween light. Like, so if you don't really want a hardcore Halloween colorway, I think this is a nice alternative because you've still got the black stripes, but they're not like super dark black that are painful to knit because I don't like knitting super dark black. This is why it's the soft black. And then you've just got all those fun speckles in there. Anyway, so that's what it looks like. I have it dyed up on Bounce and Bedazzled. So there's both of those to choose from. But I also did up a version that's just the speckles. So we're going to have the just spookles skeins as well. So it's just the white yarn with all of those colors, the green, orange, purple, yellow, and there are black speckles on these as well to pick up that black coloring. So it's very heavily speckled. So this will be Halloween Spookles stripes, and this is Halloween Spookles. So I think they're fun, and these are also on Bounce and Bedazzled. If I wanted to knit socks right now for myself, I would be knitting this, I think. Or this. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Because I really like how this looks. I can't knit myself any more socks right now. I don't want to knit socks for myself right now. I have other things I need to knit. but the new colorways are always so much fun. Okay, so that's the Halloween colorways I've got this week. In addition, I did do mini skeins. Okay, and again, this is all sort of jumbled together, so let me have a second. I did mini skeins with all of those speckle colorway, the speckle colors. So we've got semi-solids in the orange, yellow, purple, green, and then the soft black. And what I did was I did speckle these, but if you can see it, they are speckled with just more intense colors of the same color. So they're monochromatic speckles. It's the same dye color, but less diluted. So it's a more intense coloring. It'll add a look of texture without intense speckling, basically, if that makes sense. So there will be several sets of the Halloween Spookles. I don't know that I'll call this Halloween Spookles minis just because the speckle part isn't the big part in these, but they're going to be Halloween minis. So they will be in the shop, and they are on Bounce. Each of these is a 20-gram skein, so it's 80 yards. So it's essentially a full skein of yarn just in 5 minis. Okay. The other new colorway I have this week is also autumnal, but not necessarily Halloween. And this is one that I really wanted to do last year, but I couldn't decide how I wanted to do it, so then I never did it. This year I knew exactly how I wanted to do it. And I'm doing it as one of my swirl colorways. So here it is. And it is, ready for it, pumpkin spice swirl. I know. I just couldn't not do a pumpkin spice colorway. My take on pumpkin spice, however, is maybe a little different than other people's because I am not a pumpkin spice latte fan. I know. Go ahead. You can boo me or whatever. It's just not my thing. But I love pumpkin, like pumpkin everything else, pumpkin bread, pumpkin muffins, pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin butter, pumpkin-based soups. I love pumpkin. And I love the spices associated with pumpkin when you bake and cook with it. So that is more what my colorway is based on. Although I did give a nod to those of you who like your pumpkin spice lattes because that's what the brown stripe is. That's your latte brown stripe. The orange stripe is a very deep, vibrant orange. The kind of orange you see in a baking pumpkin. If you've ever purchased a pumpkin to make your own pumpkin pie filling or you've done anything pumpkin-y, it's not usually that bright orange jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. That doesn't have a lot of taste. The rind of a baking pumpkin is often that really bright, vivid orange. And so that's what this orange is for, that pumpkin. The swirl stripe incorporates all the colors of the various spices that you can use when you're cooking and baking with pumpkin, including like cinnamon and allspice and pumpkin spice. They're all mixed in there. And then there's also a real light color in there, which is for cream. So if you do like pumpkin spice lattes, you get that little swirl of cream on top. There's also a pumpkin soup that I have made. I haven't made it in a really long time. I don't even know if I still have the recipe, but I remember it involved drizzling heavy cream in it. Oh my gosh. So that's what that's for, because it all goes really well with pumpkin spice. So that is the pumpkin spice colorway in the self-striping. And I have that in, let's see, where are they? Okay. I have it in Bounce. Boy, I zoomed that over there, didn't I? Bounce. And Traveler, which is the sport weight. And Cozy, which is the worsted weight. So that's what I have the self-striping on this time. I didn't do it on any bedazzled. I will try to do that for a future update if there's interest. However, I also did a variegated version of this. But rather than just use the swirl stripe for the variegated, I used all of the colors that are in the striping to do the variegated. So it's got a lot of color to it. And it is also a bit more highly speckled than the swirl stripe has some speckles, like you can see them right there. But it's not a super highly speckled stripe. It's actually quite muted. I mean, yeah. Like if you're looking at this, you can see some of the speckles, but it's not overly speckled. This is a little more overly speckled. not overly, like not as speckled as those other skeins, but there's more speckles in the variegated skein. So this is variegated and speckled, most definitely. But it's got all those wonderful pumpkin spice colorways. So this will be pumpkin spice, variegated and speckled. The other is the striped version. Okay, and I did minis with those as well. Let me find them all. I pulled out the 5 primary colors that I used for that colorway. And I did minis for those. And again, those are the 80-yard minis, whoops, in Bounce. And these, I put the speckles on all 5 of these colors. And it's the same colored speckles on all of them. So it kind of pulls them all together if you were using them in the same project. So there will be some sets of those up in the shop on Bounce. Lastly, I have one new colorway that is not at all related to fall or pumpkins or Halloween. It is a different kind of colorway. If you remember last year when Hurricane Matthew went through, I did do a fundraising sale. I had a colorway that I was using to raise money that I would donate to Hurricane Matthew relief. I'm doing that again this year. I made a new colorway, and that is for, right now I'm going to say hurricane relief, because we've got Hurricane Harvey, but Hurricane Irma is about to hit Florida, and I have the feeling that they are going to need a lot too if this storm does not decrease in intensity anytime soon. So I am going to say at this point in time, I'm going to be donating the money that I donate from it for hurricane relief in general here in the United States. I'm pretty sure it's going to be donated to the Salvation Army. I will verify that's where I want to send it to, but that will definitely be in the listing. You will know where I am choosing to donate those part of the profits from the listing. Just saying. So here is the colorway. This is called Overcome. And there's a couple different reasons for that. I'm going to show you one colorway at a time, or one skein at a time. It's the same colorway. So the base is a very light blue and gray, representing the storm. And then on that is speckles of all the colors of the rainbow, and very bright speckles. So you've got all of your rainbow colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple in there. I chose to call this Overcome because as I've been watching the news and as I've been seeing stuff on social media, I have been overcome with emotion. I can only watch so much of this stuff, people's lives being devastated. Just, it's hard to watch, and trying to put myself in their place and imagine how I would feel, because that's just sort of how I deal with that stuff. It's very hard. And so I have been very overcome with emotion, watching all of these people who have been overcome by this storm, the situation that they cannot do anything about. That must be the most horrible, helpless feeling in the world. At least initially. I think a lot of people try to rise above that and overcome that, those obstacles, because we all have those obstacles in life. Thankfully, a lot of us will probably never have to know what it's like to go through that kind of a disaster, though. But for those people who are in the process of overcoming that, thankfully, there has been a lot of help. And that's what these speckles represent, is all of the people just coming and lending a hand, whether in person or through donations or through thoughts and prayers. There is no us and them when it comes to this kind of thing. There is us helping them. We need to be one person. And, you know, if you look at this, there's such a stark contrast between things that were in the news just a few weeks ago, an ugliness of the us and them, and then what's going on now, and how it doesn't matter who you are. If you're helping people. I'm having a hard time putting it into words because it's just been so striking for me. And it just makes my heart so happy to see people coming from hundreds and hundreds of miles away to do their part that they feel like they're led to do. If I had a skill that I could help with and I had the ability to do that, I would. But that is not a place that I'm at in my life right now. I'm not able to just pick up and go hundreds of miles away to help. I'm not a part of any organization that is doing that at this point either. So I am limited in that way. But what I can do is I can dye up a colorway specifically for the people who have been going through this. And I am donating $5 from each sale. Each skein of yarn and each sock blank that I've dyed, $5 of the profit will be going to, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be going to the Salvation Army. So I have it dyed up on Bounce and on Bedazzled on sock yarn. And then I also have sock blanks dyed up. Same colors. So I have just the regular sock blanks and sparkle sock blanks. I have 6 of each of these. If these sell out, I will be happy to dye more and continue the fundraising effort. Yeah, I want to do whatever I can. And unfortunately, this is all I can do. And I feel like it's not a lot. But if you feel like you can't do much and then it just leads you to not do anything, I feel like that's not good. If a lot of us can only do a little bit, I feel like that's something. And that can be something big. And that's where I'm at right now. So this is my part. This is what I'm trying to do. And through your purchases, I will be able to send part of what I'm making from that on to someone else. And I hope to also, I will be sending needles and yarn to Holly and her friends to help hand out to other knitters who don't have their knitting. So that's my part. Anyway, that's everything I've got for you this week. Again, thank you for being patient with the prize winning announcements. I will be getting those out just as soon as I can. I hope you are having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And if you are dealing with the aftermath of Harvey, I wish you all the best. And if you are facing Irma coming your way, I pray that you get through that unscathed and with as little damage as possible. Please be safe. Just get out of there. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do. I can't talk about that anymore right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, have a good rest of your week, and I will hopefully talk to you next week with a regular episode, depending on how this whole roofing project goes and where we're at with that come next week. But I will get back to you definitely with the prize winners episode, hopefully with a regular episode later on after that. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.